What are you outraged about? Are you outraged about the conduct of the Iraq War? I am. Are you outraged about the failure of our health system? I am. Are you outraged about rampant poverty in the richest country in the world? I am. Are you outraged about the destruction of our environment? I am. Are you outraged about the rise of Islamic fundamentalism? I am. Are you outraged about the continued violence between Israelis and Palestinians in the Middle East? I am. Sound like a pretty angry person, don't I? But there's a lot to be angry about. There is cause to be outraged at what's going on in this world. And if you're not outraged, why not? Why not? And if you are outraged, and this is a question I ask myself every single day, if you are outraged, what are you doing about it? And I mean collectively, what am I doing about it as well? Because every morning I wake up and I say, what am I doing about my anger today? Am I doing enough? Can I do more? How can I sit by and watch? I ask myself. Now, I don't want you to confuse outrage with rage. There's a difference, a very important difference. Rage produces violence. Rage produces terrorism. Rage produces indiscriminate war. Rage is uncontrolled. Rage is unaccountable, and rage is ineffective. We know about rage in our society. We know about rage in nations around our society. This isn't about rage. This is about outrage. Because outrage is about action. Outrage is about learning to understand a situation so we can respond appropriately. Outrage is about listening, because when we stop listening, we fail to understand whatever it is we're outraged over. And outrage is about, most importantly, engagement, an emotion that leads to involvement in a cause. And outrage is about a refusal to live our lives in blissful ignorance of the world around us. I think that everything's okay as long as I'm happy. Outrage is about working for change. And outrage means that we have to respond to those who might rage against us with a solid, sensible passion that counters their actions. This world needs our outrage. And so, I care deeply enough about so many of these issues to respond with some outrage of my own. And that's what it means to have on our temple masthead the word social justice. Not on here, it's on the website. What does it mean to say social justice as one of the 5 pillars of a congregation? It's not just a polite phrase to be politically correct. It's a vision that calls for outrage. It calls for us to be outraged in the pursuit of peace, for outrage in the pursuit of tolerance, to be outraged to protect the environment, to be outraged to give access to health care for our citizens, and education, and fair education, and equal education. It calls for us to be outraged about empowerment of our community. It calls for us to be outraged to end poverty. It calls for us to be outraged at the fact that there are, 70,000 homeless people living in Los Angeles? That's an outrage. And the only people that can do something about that are us. So what I'm inviting you to do is to recognize your sense of outrage, to find that place inside of you that says, I care enough about this world that I want to make a difference. To say whatever it is, and I went through a list and I hope I covered a lot of bases, to say that things matter and what I do matters, and if I'm going to respond, I need to do it from a place inside of me that brings power and energy and passion to the cause. That's what it means to have social justice on the webpage of this temple, and that's what it means for me to be the rabbi who's responsible for carrying that vision of the congregation. That's my mission, that's my outrage, and that's why I share it with you. So may it be.